So we're gonna make a Cabbage Patch Koosa cat overall outfit for Lionel here. And this is going to be from the old Cabbage Patch Kid pattern. All the pattern pieces were already cut out. I didn't want to show that just in case it might be copyrighted. But this is where the pattern's from. So of course I had to modify it because the Koosa is different than the doll. So you're going to need some rubber bands, some velcro, and some blue corduroy or whatever corduroy you want to use. And you're going to need some buttons, a ribbon, and a little patch if you want to. And this is the right side. You're going to sew together with the right sides together. And where I'm pinning is where you're going to sew. So you do a regular seam allowance, probably 1/4 to 1/2. And then when it's sewn, you open it up to the front. And you probably want to iron it, which I didn't do a very good job. And then you want to do a little pocket. Fold down the front, iron it down, and pin it. And then you're going to sew 2 lines across where this is being pinned. You're going to fold each little corner in also, because this is going to be how you're going to sew on the pocket. I'm just going to iron this and sew it on after you get the top part sewn. So there's 2 lines sewn on top. You're going to pin it down. Pin all the way around, but make sure you don't sew the top closed because that's, of course, the little pocket. So when you get it all pinned, you're going to go around and sew it twice. Then you're going to adjust your little patch and then iron it on when you get it placed where you want it to be placed. And then after that, you're going to hem the bottom edge of the facing. This goes on the back side of the top of the overalls. You won't see this part, but it makes it sturdier. So you're just going to pin this down and then just sew 1 line. And then you're going to put the right sides together, the front of the overalls and the facing, and then pin in place and sew around where I am pinning it. So that was my very crooked sewing line, but take all the pins out. And then you're going to turn this inside out. But first, before you turn it inside out, you're going to have to clip away some of this extra fabric so it doesn't bunch up when you turn it inside out. And it does help to, on corners, to snip a little bit. So you're going to try to smooth it out and make it corners as pushed out as you can. These are going to be the straps. So you just want to measure out some Velcro and place the Velcro on the back of the top of the overalls and pin them in place. And you want to put 2 pieces of Velcro on the straps, which is a ribbon. Then you're going to do 2 lines of sewing, and then also make sure you sew down the edge of the Velcro, and also sew down the Velcro on the straps. Next we're going to do the back side of the overalls, and we're going to sew the back pieces together. Now we're going to make the casing for the elastic that goes in the back. So you're just going to measure out about 1 inch. It's very important that this is accurate so you can put the rubber band through the casing. So it took a lot of time pinning this down to get this pretty accurate. And then when you sew it, make sure the seam allowance is very close to the edge of the fabric so you can put the rubber band through. Measure out 5 inches of elastic and put through the casing. I use this tool, like the long needle, to go through. Otherwise, there's no other way to get it through. I found this the easiest way. So once you get one end through, pin it, and then pull the rest of it out through the other end. And make sure you pin it down, because if the elastic goes back through, you're going to have to do it all over again. And it's a good idea to actually sew the 2 ends so it doesn't, in the case the pin comes out. Okay, now we're going to sew the back of the overalls to the front of the overalls. So we're going to do the right sides together, and we're going to do the outside. So we're just going to pin down the sides and just sew down the leg where I'm pinning it. So that side's sewn. Now, since there's a rubber band in there, you have to adjust the other side and kind of pull a little bit so when you're pinning it. I'd sewed that down, so that's why the elastic didn't pop out. But you're going to have to pull and stretch a little bit to get it to fit because of the elastic. So just pin it all down, stretch out the elastic. It's better to pin everything 1,000,000 times before you sew it. It's much easier. So sew the outside of the leg. Now that the outside of the leg is done, you're going to have to take all the pins out and just trim any odd bits that are sticking out off. Next step is we're going to have to actually adjust the pattern for the tail because it wasn't meant for something with a tail. So you're going to have to put it on the doll inside out and then kind of figure out where the tail should be. And because you've already sewn that part, you're going to have to take the seam ripper and take out the parts where you sewed where the tail was. So this is just going to be a little tweaking here and there because there's no pattern for this. Just gonna have to work your way through it. So just pull out where his tail should be and then work on arranging and pinning where his tail should be and where his inside part of his pants should be. So just gonna keep adjusting until it looks right and it fits fine. And then I pinned the whole side of the inside of the pants, and then I actually hand sewed the inside just to make sure it was going to fit before I did it on the machine, because you have to adjust the sizing because of the tail and the Koosa size versus the Cabbage Patch Kid pattern. So it fits him all right. So I ran it through the machine. So now I have to go back and put it on inside out again. And now I have to hand sew the tail hole. There's no way to do this in the machine. You're just going to have to work around it. It's kind of tedious. Then because his legs are really short, you're going to have to... I measured about 2 inches of this. And I hemmed the pant leg. And then cut off the excess. There you can see I pinned it. So here it is sewn. I'm just cutting off the excess fabric so it doesn't bunch up when he's wearing it. You can see the extra hem on the cuff of the pant leg. I'm going to cut off because it was about 2 inches too long. Now, unfortunately, you're going to have to work on the tail hole a little bit more, but you still just got an open hole there, so you're going to want to sew that down so it looks kind of neat on purpose. So this is a lot of hand sewing. So you get it to where it looks neat and on purpose, like I said. Okay, so now his tail hole is done, and we're going to sew the straps to the back of his overalls. We're just going to pin them in place because the velcro is on the front, so we're going to pin them in place so they're the right size and just sew them on. Just one pin will do. Run it through the machine and you're done with that. Make sure you don't sew over the elastic in the back though. So now the straps are on, the velcro fits. So the last step is to put on the little buttons in the front. So you just want to take the velcro off, move it out of your way. And just going to sew these on like normal buttons. The little lions are very adorable. And there they are, it's all sewn. And there he is. His adorable new overalls.